It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys. Well, we woke up in a great mood, even though we didn't get a lot of sleep, but that's neither here nor there. So I wanted to say before we get started, we had a member of the Addams family who's so special to us, Norma. It was her birthday this week. So everybody go wish Norma a very special happy birthday. She's in the live chat. So of course, we love each other. So why not, right? And then before we jump in, you guys know how this works. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's welcome Jason. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I wanted to say to everyone, our energy is still here. We've had coffee. Jason and I did not sleep last night.
And not for anything fun, huh?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. We've gone through so many mattresses. Jason hates when I complain about it.
We both, it's so funny because we both have like issues with our bodies, right? With your neck, with like how many surgeries I've had from the circus. It is so hard to find a good mattress, guys, and we are struggling. We've been through like 5, but it will come to an end soon, I think.
It will come to an end soon, yes. Yeah. And we're less than 2 minutes in, guys, over 120 in the room. So, hey, and I did want to say this too, before we jump in and talk about Beverly Hills and Dubai, and I'll let Jason pick which one we go over first. But we are getting a lot of messages from Housewives specific to these 2 franchises who are letting us know that they're watching. Some of them are happy with some of the things that we're saying, and some of them are not so much. So when you think
listen, I want to say this though, okay, because we can't, not everyone is going to like everyone. There are sides, there's confrontations, there's conflict, there's resolution in these shows. So, we're going to choose sides as viewers, right? We always do, whether we're watching something like The Bachelor or we're watching like another kind of, game show, you're always picking sides, right?
Right.
But I do have to say, in regards to the Real Housewives of Dubai, just really quickly, I am finding myself loving all the ladies. And not just because some of them watch this, but, Caroline Brooks, I wasn't a huge fan of at the beginning. I'm starting to come around to her. Nina Ali, I thought was so boring at the beginning. And now I'm seeing her as like this matriarch and kind of the voice of reason. And I just really enjoyed last night's episode. And I really enjoyed this group of ladies. Now, when it comes to Beverly Hills, and I don't know why I'm just jumping into this, but I am.
No, let's do it.
I'm saying
before you jump into Beverly Hills, I just want to say everybody in the live chat, rate last night's episode because it was nuts. But go ahead, Jason.
Are we rating Beverly Hills first?
Yes, let's rate Beverly Hills.
I'm gonna say, God, what would you give it?
I mean, I would give it a 7. There was a lot of hypocrisy. There were moments that I thought were very unnecessary. The alcohol was flowing. But then there were a lot of cringy moments that I didn't like, and we'll get into that, especially pertaining to Crystal Kung Minkoff. But what would you give it?
I would give it probably like a 7.5. There were a lot of cringy moments, and we still have some of the ladies out with COVID, of course. So, we didn't see Crystal, we didn't see Kyle, but we did see conversations about people who were not privy to the conversations or not there when they were being talked about, which is like Housewives gold, right? Right. I do have to say, watching Lisa Rinna, though, release her Rinna Rosé, go on Watch What Happens Live last night. I used to really like Lisa Rinna on the show. And now I just find her, it's just like overly kind of exhausting. She's a little loud. She's a little angry. She's a little crazy. I don't know what's going on. And just her social media, even Andy calling out her social media last night. I mean, she's pissing off people halfway. Disaster. I know she's pissing people off halfway around the world in Dubai with her tweets. So whether she reconciles with them or not, it's like maybe like we need a timeout of Lisa Rinna.
Well, and sometimes Housewives like Dorinda Medley, they get put on pause, right? When I think the network makes a decision and they're like, maybe this is too much for them. And for those of you who don't know, when you join Bravo or like Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, whatever, they have therapists and people that you can talk to as you're filming the show. Because like Phaedra Park said, sometimes it gives you PTSD. Sometimes there's a lot of anxiety. You get put in situations you wouldn't necessarily be put in, and it's hard. But
right.
Since you said that, we have a really good friend of our channel, and on Instagram, they're always reposting us. One day we're probably going to run into this person and not know who they are because their face is not on their site. But Bravo Snarkside posted this, and it kind of sounds like what you said, Jason. For 7 years, Lisa Rinna has always retained fans, no matter the level of callous, violent, or pure evil behavior. Until now, good luck finding someone who still sings her praises. They are an endangered species right now. Hashtag Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Hashtag no more Rinna.
Last night, I'm sure we'll get into it, but even like last night when we had the Rinna Rose kind of reveal and tasting, and she went at Sutton, and we have to talk about this too, guys. When she went at Sutton and she said, you can come for me, but don't come for my kids or my husband, or I will. What did she say? That was when she started yelling.
Like,
it was,
I will fucking hunt you down.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we don't need that, and then you go watch Dubai, or you watch another franchise, and it's like, this is just too much. It's too much. I think the alcohol has been flowing a lot every episode, especially with Erica too. However, I'm gonna say if we're doing another season, and I know we've talked about this last time, another season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I would like to see no Rinna. I don't mind if Erica comes back. I like Dorit when she's not around the other faux force, like when she was having lunch with Garcelle. I mean, we'll dive into this.
Yes,
I'm really ready for kind of just a change up a little bit.
Yeah,
I think though. I'm sorry. I'm
no, go ahead. I love it.
I do think though that Sutton has by far secured her spot on the show for a minute. Sometimes I don't agree with Sutton, but I do really like seeing her. I do like seeing her family dynamics, especially starting the show, seeing her kids, which we haven't seen this much involvement with her kids. So that was kind of nice. Learning about her son who wanted to join the army. I really enjoy that. And I do enjoy Sutton. So,
which was interesting to me because I mean, listen, I didn't grow up rich. You didn't grow up rich, but what rich kid like grows up and says, Mom, you make life too easy for me. We'll get into the recap. We meet Sutton's kids, right? And her son came to her and said, listen, Mom, you make life way too easy for me. So I'm going to go into the military. And she's like, oh, okay, well, no, you're not. So if I make life so easy for you, you're going to get a job. Okay. And she's like, I will make life uneasy for you. And so they were able to kind of come to a medium ground where a compromise where now he wants to go to a military college, right? But he's not going into the army. So now she's happy. He gets what he wants. He wants the structure. She gets what she wants. And Porter, her daughter, is probably like, Mom, I will never say that to you. I do not want to join the military. Like, leave me off to the side. I'm good. Please keep the money flowing.
Hey, lots of admiration for that. One of the things I really do love to see with these ladies on no matter what franchise is their interaction with their kids and them as mothers, their family dynamics. I think that is so interesting. Even watching Giselle on Real Housewives of Potomac with her kids, she's actually a great mom, but sometimes I wouldn't say that just watching Giselle by herself. But when she's with her kids, it's fun to watch. So to see Sutton's more like kind of family dynamics showcased a little more, I do enjoy that.
I do too. And, I want to kind of pan over to a conversation that we had between Dorit and Garcelle. And I love seeing, because the conflict sometimes is fun, but we always say this, we need the resolution. And last, season at the reunion, you saw Dorit scream at the top of her lungs at Garcelle. And she's like, let me finish, Garcelle. And fans wanted to rip Dorit's head off for it because it was so unnecessary. And Garcelle always keeps her composure, even when you have someone like Erica telling her kids, get the f out of here. So she really is a classy woman. And watching them be able to sit down and kind of catch up and move to a better space, I really enjoyed that. And like you said, removing Dorit from Kyle, Lisa, and Erica and trying to kind of give her that space to see maybe she can, grow these other relationships. But
there's a different side to her. There's a different side to her without the other faux force 5. You know what I mean?
And Dorit was not aware that Erica, after the party, hit her head. After she was drunk, she fell, hit her head, and vomited. And Dorit's like, okay, now this is starting to be a problem. I'm hearing what everyone else is saying. And I feel like maybe I need to keep my eye on Erica. And I know we're going to kind of bounce around a little bit, but when Erica showed up to Lisa Rinna's rosé tasting, she's like, I'm not drinking. I'll take a chamomile tea. I'll take a chamomile tea.
That lasted 5 minutes.
That lasted 5 minutes. And the women were like, oh, okay, wow, look at Erica. She's like, I'm on Lexapro. My doctors told me, and I wasn't aware that you don't mix alcohol with medication, which said no one ever. We all know that. No offense. I'm not trying to drag Erica, but every person, like, it would take I'm not even going to say it. Everyone knows you don't mix medication, especially that level of medication, with alcohol, but she still does. She still does. And Dorit called her out for it. She's like, I thought you said you weren't drinking. And she's like, no, I just had one. And she's like, right. But you just said you're on. She's like, you know what? I'm going to back off. And I was like, oh. But then Dorit gave me a very cringe moment this episode. And it was a moment that I didn't like. And it was something, it wasn't her story to tell. I understand sometimes, you know, it's not their stories to tell, but this is Housewives and they just do it anyways. But this is something that could really hurt or affect someone. And I want to get into it. Dorit talked about Crystal Kung Minkoff, and she shared information that none of the ladies were privy to, which is she said that Crystal told her that she's forcing herself to throw up every single day. That's not something you share with people. That's something that she should share with people if she wants to share that with people. I know that she talked about her eating disorder, but she didn't tell us to that extent. And that's something like, why would you even bring that? In what space did you feel comfortable to bring that up when she's not there?
I mean, slowly, starting last season when Crystal joined the show, and this season, she has been opening up about that disorder and kind of sharing a little more, and kind of opening up to the cameras and the public with that as well, which is admirable to put yourself in that position. However, right. I think she shared a little more with Dorit, and Dorit is now sharing that to kind of move this along a little bit. And I don't think it was the right place, because this is also something that affects someone off the show as well. You know, it's not like a catty fight you have on the show. This is like an issue. Yeah, it's just kind of not the.
Yeah, it's not like when
it's like right when you win me over, you lose me a little bit, Dorit. Like
exactly, and you know, it's not like when Rinna said, you know, Kyle's sister Kim was close to death, near death, right? That's something like she said that, but it's not something that Rinna was struggling with. Crystal is actually struggling with this. Her family's going to see it. Her kids are going to hear this. Her husband's colleagues are going to hear this. Like, this really is something that you should not just throw out there. And I don't know if it was the alcohol. And we didn't even talk about this, because sometimes we talk about the recaps before we come in. But did you feel like Erica and Lisa Rinna were a little bit dismissive of Crystal and what she's going through? Just saying, like, listen, she posted online, like, at this point, get help. Just go get help. What are you doing? It's like,
I mean, you would think that someone like Lisa Rinna with a daughter who struggled with that, you would have a little more compassion. But then you'd also think Lisa Rinna would have compassion when Lisa Vanderpump's brother passed away, and she didn't. And now she's expecting the same compassion when stuff happens with her. So I think she's being hypocritical at that, you know, with that certain subject for sure.
I do too. And I understand too. I was reading Twitter, going down the rabbit hole yesterday or last night, and I saw where people said, well, Lisa Rinna has, you know, she's gone through this with her daughter before. So maybe that's why she's just like, at that point, get help. You need to get help. Like, we're over it. But if you went through this with your daughter, then I think that would make you want to exercise even more compassion for someone who would be struggling with something like this, not the other way around. Now, we also had a sit down with Lisa Rinna and Sutton right before we got to the Rinna Rose party. And even that moment to me was cringy. I want to bring up a photo of her. Where is she? Oh, I had it. I'm going to bring it back up. Hold on. Let me find it.
Well, while you find that, I want to say that I really enjoyed watching Garcelle read her book.
Right.
At the lunch with Dorit and talk about her book. And I did not know she had a run-in with Bill Cosby. So it makes me want to read her book and find out what more of her experiences like she had like that. Because Garcelle has such a huge background in Hollywood and knows so many people. It would be so interesting to hear more of those stories. I love how she was reading her own book. I love that she shared those stories with Dorit and they had those conversations that now I just can't wait until Garcelle takes the book to like Diana's party and gives it to her.
I think she said she dated Eddie Murphy. She dated Jamie Foxx. She dated Will Smith. She had a run-in with Bill Cosby. Like, I would read her book in a second. I would listen to it. I probably wouldn't read it, but I would listen to the Audible. And, you know, it kind of reminded me the other day when we did that interview with Janice Dickinson and she was going through and she's like, when I dated Sylvester Stallone or Mick Jagger was an asshole. He broke up with me over a text or whatever. I don't know what she said, but you know what I mean? Like, when people have that kind of old school Hollywood background and they're not new to the scene, it's like, tell us the secrets.
It's
Hollywood
intriguing.
Unlocked.
It's so interesting because this is, for me, it's not, you know, Garcelle is different from the other ladies, even different from Lisa, because I think she has a, you know, more legitimate acting career. But she comes from that Hollywood background, you know, and that's so interesting because, you know, you have someone like Dorit, who's a business owner, or, you know, past Lisa Vanderpump, who a restaurateur, like, that makes them interesting, right? This is what makes Garcelle interesting, and it's so authentic and real that I would love to know more. But sorry, let's go back to that lunch moment with Sutton and Lisa.
Yes, Rob J in the City said she even dated Brad Pitt.
Okay. Oh, holy shit.
I mean, Garcelle.
Holy shit, Brad Pitt.
Wow. All right. So Lisa Rinna was sitting there talking to Sutton, and they had a meetup, and it was cringy to say the least. Lisa Rinna, it doesn't seem like she likes Sutton, but as soon as Sutton sits down, she's like, I really enjoy these conversations. And Rinna kind of laughs it off, and she's like, you always say that. And she's like, you know what? You infuriate me sometimes. And she just gets straight down into it. And she's like, you know, I have to let this go about the Elton John table fiasco. I have to let it go. I have to move past it. And in the conversation, that was really what the whole highlight of it was. But it was almost like sitting down with the Joker, like with this like kind of cringy smile, smirk, like, I hate you. I'm forced to film with you. I'm going to sit here and like talk to you and do whatever I have to do for the contract. But really, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to talk shit about you right after. Like, it was very, Sutton's a target.
Sutton is a target. You feel that more and more. I do find her apologies very authentic. Sutton does mean well. She is genuine. And like Marion Morris said on Watch What Happens Live last night, I think her way of coming into a conversation and trying to relate to somebody with her own story, that's just her way of connecting. And I do agree with that. I just find Sutton apologizing too much. Apologize once and then stand your ground. Look, I've apologized for that. If it's still bothering you, I don't know what to say. No, especially with Lisa Rinna, because Lisa Rinna obviously turns it around again at her party and uses it against her.
Right. And that's when, you know, when they're all sitting down and Sutton says, Rinna, I feel like you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. And she's like, you know what? F you, Sutton, for saying that. F you. Get the f out of my house. And all of the women just look like, what is happening here? Everybody looks like, Garcelle's like, I don't know what the hell's happening. Cherie Zampino is like, this is great. Give me my diamond. I don't know why I'm a friend of, which we're all shocked by that. She went on David Yontef's Behind the Velvet Rope podcast and confirmed she wanted her diamond. So I'm advocating for that like a mother. But she says, get the f out of my house if you're going to talk to me like that. And then she goes on this rant saying, let me be clear. And Sutton's like, wait, we squashed this. Why is this even a topic? She's like, let me be clear. Don't talk about my family. Don't talk about my husband. Don't talk about my daughters. You can say anything you want, sling dirt at me all day, but do not talk about my family because I will hunt you down.
I mean, listen, but Lisa was being fueled. Obviously, they've all drank. They've tasted the rosé from Semi-Provence and kind of have had a few, right? So I think she was being fueled a little bit by Erica or Lexa Perica at that point.
Lexa Perica.
I think she kept like being fueled, and I think she finally lost it, you know, and it was a moment that we didn't need. It was so cringy and so ridiculous.
I mean, so I want to say really quick, almost 400 in the room, guys, smash that like button, show some love. Let's see if we can get to 450. But I wanted to go back and talk about some of these hypocritical moments. You know, Garcelle does pull Erica, and Erica's a little bit shocked. And she said, Erica, I want to talk to you about something. When we went out, you mentioned that Sutton is a liability. And then when I got home, I processed it. And I was thinking, well, what did she mean by that? Erica was very quick with her answer. And she's allowed to, her answer made sense to me. I agreed with Erica in the sense that she said, sometimes Sutton says things and you need to let her clean up her mess. Instead, you chime in and you're trying to protect Sutton, which I understand you guys are friends, but then that's preventing the rest of us from having a friendship with you because we feel like if we say anything bad to Sutton, then you guys are a team and we can't break through to you. However, vice versa. If Garcelle says anything bad to any of them, they're all going to band together and not talk to Garcelle. So we have a clearly divided group here. I just didn't think, you know, when Garcelle was sitting down with Erica, she's like, let's involve, like, can we ask Sutton to come over here and sit down with us? And she's like, no. Erica's like, you're pretty much doing it again right now. Exactly
Hey,
what I just
listen,
said
I
you're
am
doing
on
again.
board with Garcelle being a loyal friend, and I do agree with her statement about that. Like, why are you getting mad at her for being a loyal friend? That makes no sense. However, great housewife move by Garcelle when she like quickly tells Erica, "Hey, let's go talk," but then goes over to Sutton like, "I have to go talk to Erica about her saying that you were a liability," and then walks
Yeah.
over there. Now you're fueling Sutton. Erica's fueling Lisa at the end. I'm like, this is great. Garcelle knows how to play this game now.
I love the shady editing too, but as soon as they get back and sit down, Sutton calls her out and she's like, I don't appreciate you calling me a king liability. And Erica's like, well, let me clarify. I think Garcelle is quick to clean up your messes. And it's always like when one's going in, now Erica is going back and forth with Sutton, and Lisa Rinna's like, oh, my turn. But the hypocrisy here is you're saying, don't talk about the children. And you're so aggressive and angry when it comes to them talking about or anyone talking about your husband or your children. However, even though you weren't there for what Erica said to Garcelle's son, you didn't say anything. She said she did on Watch What Happens Live. She's like, I did talk to Erica about that. We didn't see it. So of course fans are going to be like, you sound like a hypocrite because you don't give a shit if your best friend over here is talking shit to one of your castmates' kids, their 14-year-old kids, but yet Sutton can't mention your husband? What?
It's crazy.
And Lisa Rinna dragged Garcelle for mentioning her daughter in the past, and she asked her a question. She didn't say anything really outlandish. She said, do you think you dancing half naked on social media could fuel some of the issues that your daughter is going through? And that's where Lisa Rinna was like pissed. She's like, don't bring up my daughter. Okay. It's a lot. And
it's
then
a lot. It's a lot. But my favorite part about this episode is that I actually agreed with Erica on something for once.
What?
She said that she was possibly going to explore maybe being a dominatrix. And I'm like, you would be a great dominatrix. Throw on one of your Erica Jane costumes, throw on one of your songs, and be that. I think that would be a great career. That would be a great way to help her build back her lifestyle that she wanted. I mean,
what
this
a
is
pivot.
sorry. I was like, wow, that's the first like legitimate thing I've heard you say that I actually agree with.
Yeah, she's like, I was getting me some really good, and you know, she's like, I was sleeping with this man, and he was like, wow, you're a little rough and tough in bed. She's like, I like to slap him around a little bit, and I think I'm going to be a dominatrix. But hey, you know, she could have started so many other things. Like I know she wanted to do her hairline, which completely got dragged because it was people were saying that it was copying another hairline. I don't know, but she did get dragged for it. But why not just kind of take the candy route? And if you're so interested in your whole storyline, watch, this is going to happen. And you should give me some residuals for this, Erica. But her whole storyline this season is being drunk and talking about sex. So why not go start a sex toy line or something like that? You know what I mean? Go do that. Like pretty in bed or pretty mess in bed or pretty mess sex. Or I don't know. Like do that. That would be great. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
By the way, like those are great names. And take one of them, do it. I think it'd be amazing. Do you think, though, you know, just like how we were talking about how we need kind of a little refresh in Beverly Hills, do you think we'll see Erica next season? Like, if you just had to put your wildest guess for next season.
Well, we know that Erica and Lisa Rinna, both of their contracts are up at the end of this season. And I think that's part of the reason that Lisa Rinna has been so vocal on social media, because we all have been talking about Chef Rachel Hargrove and how, you know, she's gone in on Austin Kroll from Southern Charm, right? Then she leaked the messages from Bravo PR saying, please take it down. We don't support you guys going after each other like this. Like, that's not what we want. And Chef Rachel pretty much said F off to everyone. So for Lisa Rinna, the way that she's viciously attacked Kathy Hilton, attacked the Real Housewives of Dubai,
gone up to Bravo Production.
Attacked Bravo Production. She knows the rules and she's getting kind of a slap on the wrist, but I think it's because her contract is coming to an end and she's just like, I'm probably not going to be asked back. So if I'm not going to be asked back, I'm going to go out with a bang. So Is
it going out with a bang, or do you think she's trying to make noise? Because sometimes when you make noise, people start to, I just see, you know, when you brought up that tweet from Bravo Snark side earlier, I just see that I kind of agree with this. Yeah. You know, I think it's just like too little too late, and the same thing is not working anymore. And now it's just gotten too over the top. But I'm curious, if you take away Lisa Rinna, you leave Erica and Dorit, Diana, I'm like here nor there. I really at this point don't care. She throws a great party. But
Give Cherie
give
the
Cherie
diamond.
Zampino the diamond. Are we gonna bring back Kim? Like change it up a little bit. And I think we could lose Renna for a second. She can go back to Melrose Place.
I think you're shady as hell. I think we could actually get rid of Renna because here's the thing. If you watch Selling Sunset on Netflix, we have Christine Quinn, who just loves being a badass. And she's like, people call me a bitch. And she's like, honestly, I wear that as a badge of honor. And she loves being the villain. You have a Stassi Schroeder on Vanderpump Rules, loves being the villain. Like you pointed out, her followers on Instagram, she made sure that she only followed 666 people. Like she lives for it. Lisa Rinna loves being the villain. So there is someone else out there who can fill that role. That person.
Well, 100%. And then you also, I mean, it's a bad comparison to Christine Quinn because she has a successful business. And I'm curious to see what Renna Rose will turn out to be because it does look just like a production line. There's no vineyard and tasting and stuff that, you know, you and I watched Lisa and Ken and Pandora and her husband, Jason, go through the whole process, go to France. People from France came over. They would go back and forth. They have even revamped their original, you know, formula or not formula, recipe or whatever for the rosé. And it just keeps growing. You know what I mean? This to me is just like another thing Lisa can slap her name on. Lisa Rinna Rosé, like Renna this, the lips, the whatever she sells on HSN, QVC, whatever.
I have the cast for next season, and we could do this.
Okay.
Christine Quinn has left the Oppenheim group, and she said she's made for TV. She's successful. She has more money than most of these women, except for
she won't deal with Bravo.
What?
She won't deal with Bravo.
Why?
I don't see that happen. Bravo has so many stipulations when you sign the contract. That would have to be a very...
She could negotiate the shit.
They would have to be very favorable to her. And I don't know if they would do that.
Oh my God. She would come in and eat these women alive.
I mean, that would be the fresh, young take that we need. But I think she's kind of busy.
I mean, they're all like, a lot of them are busy. They're not all busy, but
they're not all busy. I mean, I was thinking the other day,
gallivanting around the world doing Fashion Week. Like,
well, I was thinking too, when Dorit was on the phone, I forgot who she was talking to on FaceTime. She's like, hey, I'm just heading to work. I'm like, where are you going to work? Like, what? Like, I've never seen you besides released lines of stuff. I don't know what you're doing. It would be interesting to bring someone like Christine Quinn in, who is so busy, and like follow that into the group of ladies. But I don't see that happening. I think Christine Quinn is she's hanging out with like Anna Wintour and wearing like Marc Jacobs design just for her. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't have time to hang out with Dorit and Kyle now.
Krista Marie said, so Harry and Rinna's partner, just saying he seems normal. Side eye emoji. Make it make sense. Said Renna Rosé is guaranteed to give you a hangover. Okay. And Kim was and Sutton would be a force. Okay. So Ebony Dix is calling for Kim Richards to come back. I think we could do Kim Richards, Kathy Hilton, Kyle Richards. Boom. Let's keep Erica. Let's see what's going on because it just gets messier and messier and the legal shit is far from over. Garcelle, keep her. Cherie Zampino, let's upgrade her. Diana, I'm iffy about still. And then
I don't think I'm iffy. I'm not interested.
Let's add a Christine Quinn. What happened to Dorit's wedding dress line? Who knows? Maybe that's where she was going to work.
What happened to Beverly Beach? I mean, the websites are still there.
That was a huge lawsuit, Beverly Beach.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm curious if Lisa Rinna will come back. It's interesting. I don't know. And I also know too that they're all most likely watching this because when I post on my stories on Instagram and I post that we're doing this, I go through the list and you see the verified check marks and it's like housewife. And then when we get off, I get messages and it's like, actually, this is what happened behind the scenes. So I just want you to know that. And I'm like, well, shit, that's not the edit that we saw. Yeah, I understand that, but maybe you should get your facts right. And I'm like, well, we're going based off of what we saw on TV, sweetheart.
Yeah. When you sign up to do a show, this is what we watch and this is what we speak on.
Yeah. I mean, all right. So we're going to pivot here, but guys, 500 in the room, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love, bring Kim back to fight with Rinna. Let's talk about Harry. I mean, listen, if they bring back Kim, I'm okay with keeping Rinna for another season because after Kim watches Rinna go in on her sister Kathy, Kim is going to come in with a vengeance. Like 100%. She's going to be like, you went after me, you went after my sister, and now I'm going to talk about the husband.
And see, that makes me think, is that the plan? Like, is Lisa like putting one over on us and like setting herself up?
I mean, Lisa, hold on, before we pivot into Real Housewives of Dubai, you know how you said earlier with Sutton, you're getting sick of like the, I do something bad, then I apologize. I do something bad, then I apologize. Lisa Rinna's doing the same shit. She's probably after this going to go on social media at some point this month and attack or drag someone. It's going to happen again. She's like, I know, Andy, I'm mad.
It's a little different. The point I was trying to make with Sutton was that she apologizes and she keeps apologizing, when I think that if she did something, she should apologize and be like, I apologize, now it's on you. You know what I mean? I want Sutton to kind of have a little more like, I don't know. Like, I want her to like flex a little bit.
Yeah, I want her to flex a little bit, and I want this woman to definitely get a diamond. Now,
100%.
Yeah. I did like the YSL outfit, though. I thought she looked good there. But
I mean, listen, a great way for the rosé. I wish maybe that label matched that outfit.
What did you think about, like, do you think somewhere out there, do you, like, immediately when I saw Rinna Rosé and I started hearing about Provence, and of course we worked for Lisa Vanderpump Rosé is so, like, I'm obsessed with Vanderpump Rosé, and not because we worked for Lisa, like, I just absolutely love her rosé. And I'm wondering, like, it just reminded me of that episode where Bethany sits down with Sonia, and she's like, tipsy girl, skinny girl, cheater brand. That's what we call a cheater brand. And Sonia's like, what are you talking about? I just look up to you. She's like, no, girl, it's a cheater brand. Anybody can make a rosé.
Who knows? It's not like Lisa has gone back over to France and is like tasting all these things, right? Like, you saw all of her wine business partners. So it's being built by these people, and then we're going to slap her name on it. That's what it looks like to me. It's not as, I don't think she's as invested in the process as just the final product.
Right. Whereas, and we can say this from experience, like you were mentioning earlier, for Lisa Vanderpump and her daughter Pandora and her son-in-law Jason, when we would work at the restaurants, I mean, honestly, it was amazing. Like, when Pandora and Jason would go over to Europe because they would be testing out the wines, it almost felt like getting a substitute teacher, right, in school, because they weren't there. And when they are there, they see everything, and nothing can be messed up. Like, they are so on point. Pandora is
you have to remember too, Pandora has had every position
right
in all of those restaurants,
and she knows what she's doing.
She's been a busser, she's been a food runner, she's been a server, she's been a bartender, she's been a host. She knows how it works, and she is, her eye does not miss a thing, even when she was pregnant, even after she had the kid.
I mean, literally there's no room for error. She has an eye for everything. I remember a couple times where I would be running drinks or something, and it was like 2 months into working at TomTom, and she would stop me, and I'm like, I have like 10 tables, and she'd be like, tell me the ingredients in that drink. And I'd be like, I gotta go by. And I would run, and she would catch back up with me, and she's like, did you look at the menu? Okay, I'm gonna give you a menu test. So tomorrow you can come in and we'll do a menu test. And thankfully, sometimes it didn't happen, but she would just intimidate the hell out of me because she was running a business and she was hands-on. And then Lisa, I think it kind of took some of the pressure off of Lisa and Ken and allowed them to be the faces. However, like, Lisa and Ken were very much so heavily involved as well. And my whole point was, when you're talking about Rinna slapping her name on a bottle, I think for Lisa and Pandora and them, we know when they would go to Provence and they would test out the different wines and they would put together a great product, and then they would bring it back for people to test out. And if the feedback wasn't in their favor, they would fly back over and they would start altering it again. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah, interesting. I mean, listen, I think when you release I think for a wine to be successful, first of all, you have to find it, because, sometimes we can't find Vita tequila. You have to find the product, right? And then you do kind of want to invest in it. Like, we watch Lisa Vanderpump open multiple restaurants. I mean, I think to date she's had 30-something restaurants. We know that she knows what she's doing. She loves wine. We know that. She's invested. She lived in the south of France. She's opened restaurants there. So she knows. So I feel like I would trust that more than someone who I just don't know, who like was doing wine tasting in France, was like, let's do Rinna Rosé. And then it's like, now it's being built by like a wine brand that you pay to like slap a label. I mean, that's just the way I see it. I'm not trying to like say. It might be great. I don't know if we'll find out. If it is available, then we can test it out. But I mean, you can find Vanderpump Rosé at Publix, Costco, CVS, like any liquor store. You can find Vanderpump Rosé. I haven't found Vida Tequila. I haven't found a few other, brands that are from specific housewives. And so if she has the ability to produce it and we can try it, maybe we can.
Maybe we'll love it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm so tired.
No, guys, we didn't sleep again. But
we didn't sleep last night.
Smash that like button, show some love. We're going to get into the Real Housewives of Dubai now, and I want you guys to go ahead and rate last night's episode a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. What are your thoughts on the Real Housewives of Dubai, especially, or I guess more specifically, this episode? Jason, I'll start with you.
I liked it. I'm here for Dubai, guys. Like, I know the first few episodes were kind of like hard to get through, especially the first one, because I think our expectations were so high because it is Dubai. I want to say I love the production value of Dubai. I think it's fun. I like how they did that whole like Sergio and Caroline thing last night, that matchmaking thing. I thought it was fun with the little games. I just like how it's different.
Right.
And I'm now invested in every single one of these ladies. I really enjoy them. I know that's just my opinion. I know some people have other opinions, but I liked the episode. I'm gonna have to give it like an 8.
Well, we're getting 5, 7, 8s. I've missed 7.5 episode of Dubai. 6, 7, 6, and love Ayan's fashions. They're always a moment. Love the glam montages. And I did like the little games with Caroline and Sergio. And he's like, my whole life, I just wanted to find my Prince Charming. And she's like, no, you didn't. And he's like, isn't that what you call it? And she's like, no, princess. He's like, oh, my princess. This is my princess. This is just funny. But if you guys did miss it, then let's just talk about a few of the key moments here in Dubai because it was really funny. And of course, Chanel Ayan, just like Storm Dora said, always provides us with a fashion moment. And
even if it's not called for at that moment.
Even if it's not called for at the moment.
Not called for.
And this is her. This is how she dresses to go bargain for gold. What?
I mean, listen, this is someone who's not missing an opportunity, right? She knows she's filming Housewives. She knows she's bringing it. She knows she has an image already. This is, I'm here for it. If she wants to do that, more power to her. Like, it just looks so funny when you're in the gold market trying to bargain or go through that with this couture dress on. I mean, have a photographer follow you. I mean, obviously she did, but and take photos. But yeah, even the way she showed up with Sarah Al-Madani to lunch in the big white dress and said, this is a wedding dress.
I mean, it's just like, where is the big white dress? I think I have it. It's a little blurry, but like I love it.
It's lunch. It's lunch attire.
It's lunch attire. Like, it makes me feel like, do I just dress like shit everywhere I go?
Most of the time.
Okay, can you
pause? Well, sometimes you like wear your pajamas outside, and that's like a no.
Only when I'm walking the dogs or breakfast.
Whatever you say.
And I think pajamas are appropriate unless you ask Chanel Ayan, and then I should be wearing a corset and a big dress.
Yes, just to walk the dogs.
Just to walk that. She's like, I'm so excited. I'm about to go walk the dogs verbatim, and now I'm going to wear my couture prom dress.
I mean, no one's really stepped up the fashion since, like, I mean, we see Dorit have, she has lots of fashion and labels in your face. But we used to see a lot of crazy outfits and great outfits from Jen Shah on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, she always came in like, that's too much,
Right.
But Chanel does it in a way where I think it's like, it's fun. you know? I mean, Jen Shah did it fun too, but like, this is like, it's so over the top.
This is elevated. Yeah. Rob J in the City said, check out Chanel's YouTube videos. She has always been that girl, which I love. It's like, she's not putting on a facade. There was a, Carlos King, right? Went on and was talking about the Real Housewives of Dubai, again, calling it the Real Housewives of Dubai, and saying that all of these women are like kind of fake and acting like caricatures of other housewives they've seen before. I don't think we've ever seen a Chanel Ayan before. There's never been anyone like, she is so freaking hilarious, but also so unapologetically herself. She does not care. I love her. She's definitely she is the breakout star. I thought it was going to be Caroline Stanbury. It's not. It's Chanel Ayan.
We still get our moments though from Caroline Stanbury. Like when Lisa Milan sent the invitation to all the ladies for the dance hall party, because she wanted the ladies to kind of all get together. And she sent out that message, and it just flashes to Caroline's house, and you go, you hear, oh God. She still gives me those moments that I still recognize Caroline Stanbury from Ladies of London, which I love. I think it's fantastic. Sometimes she can be petty and it's fun.
We also got to meet Caroline Brooks's ex, Zora.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because he's Russian, right?
I believe he is, but I'm not sure.
Guys, in the live chat, if you know if he's Russian, go. I'm just curious. But we get to see her in a conversation with him, and they're catching up on their son that they share together. Adam, great name. Caroline, great name. And this was an interesting moment to see where she's explaining that she's opening this spa. He's talking to her a little bit about the budget. And then she lets us know that her other ex, her ex-boyfriend, not the one that she was married to that we see in the scene, but her ex-boyfriend is one of her investors. And she's like, why not just keep it all in the family? I'm like, you're running like a little interesting dynamic of an empire over here. It's kind of giving me Dolores Catania, who has a new boyfriend, but then has her ex-husband who lives in the house with her, who hangs out with her ex-fiance or boyfriend. It's like, what?
I hope this is not the last time we're going to, the last time we're going to see this dynamic. I really do like it. And it kind of gives us kind of a little, like I said at the beginning, Caroline Brooks just for me came off a little brash, not in a bad way. I'm just like a lot. She would, I don't know how to explain it, but I like this dynamic. I like seeing her dynamic with her son, and I like seeing this dynamic that how did this work and how did this break up and what happened? You get a little backstory, and that was interesting.
Well, I also too, I didn't like seeing the moments where Caroline ripped apart her friends at the dinner table. And I didn't like seeing the, clash with her and Sarah Almadani. I didn't understand. Like Caroline, she said that she was, she drank too much and she was tipsy. And she said part of it was how she was feeling. Part of it was too much alcohol. I get that. But I wanted to see like a softer side and see, can we move past this? And in this episode, she really did that for me. Not when they went to go shop for gold, because that's
not when they shop for gold. And here's what I thought was interesting, because I think we've all seen that it is a miscommunication. And I think Sarah, who did respectfully ask, wait a second, I did ask if I asked your permission if I could offer some, I don't know if it was advice or whatever. And she said, that's not what I said. That's not how I meant that. Yes, alcohol induced. We've seen this like with Erica. I'm sure Caroline had a few too many and she just went off a little too hard on her, which I think she did realize in the end when after they did the dance rehearsal and the dance studio for the dance hall party.
Right.
I think when going up to Sarah and just saying, let's just drop this, I think it was a miscommunication. I think it was a little bit of alcohol. It was a little bit of whatever. And that I applaud her for. I was like, this is great. We had this conflict, but I love, again, this group of ladies. Like, it's so nice to finish an episode where everyone's dancing and having fun.
Right.
So that was fun.
I also wanted to say too, even though first of all, what was it, an Ethiopian restaurant?
Yeah.
Chanel
no one got to eat the food.
No one got to eat the food. Chanel's sitting in her big purple dress and she's like sitting there, and then she's like dragging it into the bathroom, this like tiny little bathroom. Caroline was saying that it was a nasty area. Obviously, we saw in the car right over there where she was talking about how the area was not favorable, but it was a heated moment, and everybody.
That's not the words she did use, but I'm like, okay, Dubai though, the crime rate in Dubai is like nil. So I'm like, I'm not understanding what she did mean by that. That's one of those things from Caroline I don't understand. But what was interesting about this whole Ethiopian restaurant, like not fight, but disagreement, was this is where I kind of understood Nina, why she's on the show. And I really think she has this like matriarch way about her, and she is sometimes the voice of reason. And right. I'm like, oh, this is where you fit in. This is like, I really enjoyed her in that moment.
Right. And, Storm Dora said it was nice seeing Stanbury in a scene without Sergio.
This is true. I feel like Sergio is friend of at this point.
He is a friend of. Lisa Milando, I think that she killed it with this whole dance party thing. I am the worst dancer ever. I would be a total Caroline Stanbury in this moment. I would never, you'll never see me dance. Jason is a fantastic dancer. I am not. which is
Well, that's
really
not fair. I made a living doing that, so that's not fair.
right. But I'm a great singer.
That's not true.
I can sing really well.
Okay.
Just saying. Okay. But Lisa decides to put together this party. And at the rehearsal for this party, the women start coming in. Nina's sharing a little bit of the information about what's going on. And I really am starting to I'm loving Nina more and more. But she's sharing information with Lisa about what went down. And she's like, it was crazy. And then Caroline comes in. Sarah and Caroline hug. And it looks a little fake, right? Because it's like, this is awkward. Last time we saw each other, we wanted to rip each other's heads off. But then Caroline pulls Sarah. And that's the conversation I really appreciated. And she was honest and vulnerable. And she said, listen, maybe, I might have overreacted. When it comes to my son, that's like a trigger point for me. I just don't appreciate you, chiming in. I understand what you were trying to do. But in that moment, that's not how I heard it. I heard it like you're talking about my kid. And that for me was why I had such a big reaction. But it's not like, that's why I don't want to be hard on Caroline Brooks, because she's not the first housewife to ever get upset when someone mentions their kid. We just talked about Lisa Rinna getting upset with Garcelle. We just talked about Garcelle being upset with Erica. I mean, it's different circumstances for sure, but it's like, Caroline, now I'm understanding, okay, this was a trigger for you when your son was brought up. And it's because of how you were, she was explaining, this is how I was raised, and I want to instill some of those same values into my son. And I also want to give my son a much better life. I understood where she was coming from. And I thought it was really fair. And I love how Sarah Almadani was like, even though you've ripped my head off twice now, okay. But Sarah did kind of check her for a second when they were at the Ethiopian restaurant. She's like,
when she was walking out that door and Caroline stood up, and she'd like to sit down or something like that when she was leaving. I was like, oh my gosh. Like this is.
And Sarah said, what did she say? Do it again and watch what happens.
Yeah.
And Caroline was like, what? And I was like, Sarah, no.
I find it interesting though, especially watching Housewives of Dubai, getting more interesting, getting more invested in the ladies, how we watch these ladies deal with situations and conflict and resolution as on an international level, as opposed to, let's say, Beverly Hills or Jersey. It's just a little different. They seem to have the class level is just a little higher. Just a little higher.
Yeah. Rob J in the city said, Adam, I need you and Jason to go sing karaoke and post it on members only. I have a
video of Adam singing karaoke and taking over an entire show on a cruise ship. It was one of the worst things I tried to hide myself so fast. Remember that?
I think it was it Don't Go Chasing Water? I forgot, but I wouldn't give the mic up, remember? Because there were like other families
that you're like, my next song is going to be, and we're like, your next song is not happening. You need to get off the stage immediately.
This was like 5 years ago, guys, but there were like other people with kids who really everybody's on the boat, right? Share. And I was like, no, this is karaoke and I'm going to be your host. That was the problem, is I was trying to host and I took the mic from the actual girl who was like, like on a cruise ship, there's a woman who's like, she hosts karaoke at night and then she's serving lunch in the afternoon and then she's checking on the kids at the pool in the daytime. And they have their different jobs. But I was like, girl, put your feet up, take a break, give me the mic. Hey guys, welcome to karaoke. And I was like, for our first talent, it's me. So
I mean, listen, do you remember when you were line dancing almost by yourself?
Oh no, with somebody's wife.
Oh, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next day she's like, I had so much fun dancing with you. And I was like,
we need to record more of this. This needs to be out there. I have a question for you, Adam, though, because in Dubai, a lot of people are there, talking about Phaedra. I still think Phaedra would be great back on Atlanta. That's just my opinion. Do we need a Phaedra in this group in Dubai? Because I feel like we could use another woman or another lady coming to the show.
I don't think that we necessarily, if you want to add her as a friend of, I would love to see another full-time housewife, but someone who is really authentic, in that culture and not someone who just pops in from time to time because they do business in Dubai. I want to see the culture. That's what I'm loving about Nina and Sarah Almadani. I'm loving that culture and seeing I haven't seen this before. And that's what makes it exciting. Just like when we went over to Salt Lake City, I always knew that you grew up Mormon, but I didn't see it, right? But then watching it and learning more about it, that was exciting to me. Caroline Stanberry just being a statue is exciting to me. And Chanel Ayan, her incorporating her culture and just letting us know. And What did she say? They were dancing. She's
When
like, this
she
is how
met
you
her
have to do it.
husband, I
Like
was on a zebra.
she's like you're riding a zebra. I'm like, what? Do you ride zebras? I don't know, but I love it. So
I mean, I just haven't seen in such a long time that we've ended a Housewives show or an episode with everybody in a good place and having fun. You know, like the Jersey Housewives can't even make it through an obstacle course without, fighting. They can't even make it up on the obstacle course. It's like, oh, we just completed that activity. It was so fun. Everyone's lovey. But I know that shit's gonna hit the fan again. We all know that. But it is nice to see those cotton candy moments.
yeah, I love that. A good cotton candy moment.
Good cotton candy moment.
A good cotton candy moment. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're gonna end this a little bit early today because Jason has to go to the mattress store and find us a new mattress so we can sleep, which we're exhausted from. Jason, has it been 7 mattresses this year?
It has not been 7 mattresses.
It's been 7 mattresses.
You love to fluff it. It has not been like that.
How many mattresses?
It's just we like you have a head and neck injury and problems like that. I've had 7 surgeries on my body from touring with the circus for so long. It is so important that we have the right thing to sleep on. You know what I mean? So
I'm not going to lie. I'm so tired today from this too. Like not from this, but I'm tired from not sleeping last night. Like I'm actually exhausted.
I'm so exhausted. And I'm like trying to make it through this recap and like remembering the words I'm supposed to say and the things the notes that I took and stuff. And it's just been like,
do you have notes?
Shit. Yeah, I have notes from Beverly Hills because there were some moments.
Oh, okay.
There were some moments. But I really like Dubai. Now I wonder if there's going to be, and I know you just said we're going to wrap this up, but I wonder if there's going to be any big announcements at BravoCon, maybe with a new franchise.
I know one announcement that my ass isn't going.
That's fine.
But no, like I didn't even realize this too. I just want to say, Sarah Bahu pointed this out. She commented on it. So apparently you pay for your tickets to get in, but then the little extra things like going in and watching like your favorite Housewives or whatever, when they do the panels and stuff, you pay extra on top of that.
Yes.
What kind of bullshit is that?
I don't know. I mean, listen, Comic-Con and other cons do this as well. But I just feel like it's just it's a lot. I know one person we won't be seeing, and that's Chef Rachel, because she has 100% pulled out of BravoCon. And I might have to be Team Chef Rachel on this. Because I sometimes think that Bravo likes to take over on the talent. I'm not sure if it was Bravo or a production thing that she had going on, but I mean, curious.
Yeah, shit is so important. Oh my god, sleep is so important. Thanks, N-Dub. But like stuff is so expensive right now that I'm just shocked at the prices. And I did think maybe it was because they had to cancel BravoCon last year, so they probably spent money.
Then they should have made it cheaper this year so you can get more people.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys missed a year. Well, I mean, because of a good excuse, let's say, but for sure, like it's too much.
It's too much. All right.
Unless the Housewives are coming to BravoCon and paying for their own tickets, and that's all that's going to be there. That's fine.
I mean, and the Housewives only get paid $500. Like they only, the Bravo talent each only gets $500 to go and attend, and then they get their accommodations paid for, like their hotel.
They get travel accommodations and all that stuff. So I guess and they also get the, help me out because I'm so tired. You get the exposure,
I mean, you're already on a TV show. I
know, but then I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well.
Okay.
Whatever. All right, guys. Whatever. We'll see. We have more videos that we'll be dropping for you today, and then again, we're still working on some things behind the scenes. I'm trying to see, did we get an email yet? No, we didn't. Okay. We love you guys. We'll be back. Jason, did I miss anything?
Nope. But if you are any member on any level of the memberships, which we will be changing very soon, we will be doing a Let's Whine About It on Monday, which I'm so excited about because we have so much to whine about. Those are always a blast. And it's a little more, how do you say it?
Personal.
It's a little more personal, so it's fun. It's fun. So
yes, it's a little bit more personal, but we're doing Let's Whine About It on Monday. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the notes from my reading with super famous Gina Marie, the spiritual medium, who has literally been on every media outlet like ever. And the reading was so on point, so accurate. And it just, I mean, I think I cried like 4 times. And then Jason was in the shower and I ran into the bathroom. Don't be weird, Joe Mendoza. And I was like, Jason, turn off the shower. I have so much to tell you. And he's like, what? So we're going to talk about all of it. And with that, go ahead, smash the like button, get subscribed. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye, bye.